You know there are a lot of rumors
Sure.
out there right now, and you would like to address them head on, so I'll give it to you. Go ahead.
I have to, yeah. I'm here to admit that I am, in fact, HIV positive. And I have to put a stop to this onslaught, this barrage of attacks and of sub-truths and very harmful and mercurial stories that are about that threatening the health of so many others, which couldn't be farther from the truth.
Well, now that Charlie Sheen has come out and said, yeah, he's been living with HIV for the last couple of years, that's got a lot of folks talking today because it's been a while since we've had HIV out, and one of the prevalent topics of the day that we've had a celebrity come forward and say, yeah, I have it. So we're wondering, what are the latest advancements and what are some things you should be aware of? We've got Dr. Jacobs on the line with us from Transformations, Idaho. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing good. Well, it has been a while since we've had HIV be front and center in the news. And so now this brings up a whole topic of conversation. Who should be tested for HIV?
Well, according to the CDC, and that's an excellent question, basically they think everybody should be tested at some point in their lifetime. About 1.2 million Americans have HIV currently, and particularly those who have multiple sex partners, or those who should get tested. However, there is a high-risk population or pool of patients that most definitely should be tested. That would include anyone who's ever shared an injection for drug needles or syringes, so to speak, anyone who's had unprotected intercourse, have ever been diagnosed with some of the diseases that kind of go hand in hand with HIV and AIDS, such as hepatitis, tuberculosis, or any sexually transmitted diseases, anyone who's exchanged sex for drugs or money, received a blood transfusion or clotting factors between 1978 and 85. Now, that's the period that before we really understood HIV and AIDS. Mm-hmm. We didn't screen the blood products like we screen them today. And if you had unprotected sex with someone who would answer yes to any of those particular questions that we just mentioned.
Well, I've also heard that if you've gone to maybe not one of the very reputable tattoo parlors, that if you've had tattoos done that way.
Yes, that is that, and hepatitis as well. Hepatitis B and C. Hepatitis B is also making a comeback in the United States.
Well, how does someone go about, like, what all is involved in getting an HIV test?
Basically what happens is when HIV enters the bloodstream, it begins to attack certain white blood cells. These are called CD4 cells, and they're sort of a helper cell. They sort of mark the bad guys to allow your immune system to recognize them and attack those cells. Mm-hmm. So HIV attacks those cells. And these cells that aid your immune system will create antibodies to the presence of the HIV virus, and that's basically what the test will begin to screen for.
Now, is there a way? And of course, we're talking. If you just joined us, Charlie Sheen came out this morning and said that he's been dealing with living with HIV for the last couple of years, and he has it. Is there a way of knowing that you have HIV? Can you tell that you have it if you haven't actually had the real test done?
No, unfortunately there isn't. It's sort of a silent killer. The only way to know is to be sure if you have it is to be tested. Mm-hmm. Within a few weeks
Well, this morning we're talking with Dr. Jacobs from Transformations, Idaho, and the news has come out that Charlie Sheen has confirmed the rumors that have been swirling for the last couple of years that, yes, indeed, he does have HIV. So that brings up all kinds of information and thoughts and ideas, and my goodness, it's been a long time since we've had a high-profile celebrity admit that, they have HIV. So, Doctor, thanks for joining us this morning. question for you. If, say, just regular person that's living right here in the Treasure Valley, they hear that someone that they were intimate with maybe 5-6 years ago or something, what is the timeline? When should you be tested, or what should set off alarm bells for you?
So anyone who's had unprotected relations should be tested. Most people will develop detectable antibodies that we spoke about earlier within about 3 months of the infection. The average from the CDC is 20 days, so it's pretty fast. But in some rare cases, it can take 6 to 12 months. And for this reason, the CDC recommends testing 6 months after the last possible exposure that you're worried about. So in this case, this particular patient should know one way or the other if it's been 5 years. And you can be tested at your doctor's office. The health department does them. A lot of the hospitals in the area will give the test. Insurance covers it. For example, the CDC recommends all pregnant women should be tested for the HIV virus.
What is the test? What do you do?
It's a blood test. There is a rapid test that can use saliva, and it looks for the antibodies that we talked about. If that test is negative, you can pretty much be rest assured that you're disease or you're virus free. If it's positive, there is one other test we do. That one unfortunately takes a couple weeks. But it's looking for the DNA, RNA of the virus. It's called a Western blot, and that's a confirmatory test. If that's negative, then you're negative. If it's positive, it's definitely positive. If this rapid test is positive, however, we always go and do the confirmatory test.
Okay,
sure.
Now you just said something, because we know that HIV is transmitted through fluids, but can it be transmitted through saliva? I mean, if somebody come up and lick you on your tongue, can you get it?
Probably not, but theoretically, with intimate relationships, there is a concern that it can go through any type of bodily fluids. The answer would be yes, depending.
Now, how have there been strides in HIV treatment? I mean, have the medicines for it improved?
They've made tremendous strides, and unfortunately, though, at this time there's no cure for HIV or AIDS. But the medications are effective in fighting HIV and all the complications, which are the ones that make you sick. The treatments are mainly designed to reduce the amount of virus in your body and keep the immune system healthy. So it kind of keeps the amount of viral particles, we say, or the little viruses in your body down to a minimum, so they really don't affect your immune system. And the way they do it now, and this is beyond my scope of practice, but you go to an infectious disease specialist, and they will almost tailor your therapy to you and your symptoms. And to which type of HIV. There's 2 types of HIVs that you have. So they've come a tremendous amount of distance and treatment since the 80s and 90s.
Well, think about Magic Johnson. He came out, 15 years ago, saying he has HIV, and he's still, he's managing it. And I guess that's the one thing, that HIV, if you catch it, is very manageable. But unlike cancer and a few other things, it's communicable.
Yes, this is true.
So basically, rule of thumb would be if in doubt, get tested, or if you
absolutely,
have... Okay.
Absolutely. And you might require multiple testing throughout your lifetime.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Jacobs. You've been
You're
very
welcome.
informative, and Transformations Idaho. So, ladies, and Doctor, what all do you specialize in?
Board-certified gynecologist. We do cosmetic surgeries, and we also do aesthetics. That's basically what we do.